Alright, I just turned 43, and I feel like I should share some birthday wisdom in my birthday suit. So here goes. Most people have voluntarily enslaved themselves and don't even know it, or at least won't acknowledge it. Now, how does this happen? Mostly marketing techniques. Now, I think most people will understand this, what I'm about to explain, if you actually just look at it rationally. Now, I just did a marketing trick there. You know what that was? I just said that most people will understand this. And you don't want to be one of the people that's left out, who's stupid and doesn't understand it, so you're more likely to listen to what I'm saying and agree, because you want to be one of those ones who understands it. Aha! So, let me explain another marketing technique that gets used a lot, constantly on people, tricking them out of choices they have. So, you're presented with 10 choices. And very quickly the person or persons presenting these choices says, okay, this first choice, yeah, just disregard that one. Let's focus on these other 9. Now you have so many different choices, it's pretty easy to let go of one. Okay, well, what are these other 9? What are these good choices? Now the trick they've done is that all these other 9 choices, they're all the same thing. And that one choice they disregarded, they convinced you to disregard, that was basically all of your choices that they just threw out the window. And you can apply this template to so many things. And once you're aware of it, you'll see this happening everywhere, all the time, like 40 times a day throughout your life. Now let me give you an example. Car salesman. This could be on a TV commercial or in person, doesn't matter. Car salesman says to you, in whatever flowery language they use, let me just paraphrase it simply. Basically, which car do you want to buy? And then they show you. We got new ones, we got used ones, we got blue ones, purple, power windows, manual windows, we got convertibles, we got hardtops, we got trucks, we got SUVs, we got vans, we got so many choices, so many choices, so many choices! And they bombard you with so many choices that it's easy to disregard that one choice that they threw out at the beginning. Oh, did you miss it? Because the first thing they said was, which car do you want? Which is a loaded question. They didn't ask, do you want a car? No, they skipped right over that and went to, which car do you want? Which acknowledged and disregarded at the same time the choice of not buying a car. And then they quickly bombarded you with so many choices, so that your brain felt like it had so many choices, it can let go of that first choice. Or we need to get rid of more choices. We need to narrow this down, right? So it makes it kind of lubricates your brain to the idea that you can let go of that choice they were trying to get rid of. The problem is, all those different choices they're giving you, it's all just buy a car. 4 wheels, a motor, a steering wheel, is basically the same thing. Now this is the part where you get to choose if you're going to control your own destiny or if you're going to let other people do it for you. So if you go along and say, okay, let's start looking at all these different cars that are totally different, or you can say, whoa, 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 let's back up a step and say all these cars are in the same decision slot. Buy a car. I have a lot of other choices I can make. I could get a bike. I could get rollerblades. I could just start driving my skateboard again. I could arrange my life so that I don't even need transportation. Maybe I'll live in the building where my job is. Maybe I'll go to school where I have housing. Maybe I'm going to live in a vehicle, in a camper, or in a car, or maybe I'll live in a tent. Maybe I'll be homeless for a year. You know, there are all these different choices. And people, you know, when that guy said, which car do you want, he leapfrogged right over all those choices. And it's really important to acknowledge all those choices. And I know a lot of people out there got a knee-jerk reaction when I said, be homeless. What's the problem? I'm not saying you should be homeless, but looking at that choice, what are people afraid of in just acknowledging a possibility and looking at it? Are you afraid that maybe that's going to be the best choice? Well, if that's going to be the best choice, then you should do that. But if you look at it and you're sure it's not going to be the right choice, then you can look at it and determine that and be like, okay, now let's move on. We've looked at that. Look at all your choices. Maybe living in a tent for some period of time will be somehow beneficial because you need some fresh air and you need to save some money and whatever. I was actually homeless for a year, and that was actually super beneficial to me because it helped me pay off a loan way faster than I would have, and there are a whole bunch of other experiences. But anyway, I don't want to get stuck on homeless or living in a tent or whatever, which two experiences that I found were totally awesome. I'm just saying, look at all your choices. Do you even want to buy a car? And this happens all the time, like a house. You go into to look at housing situations, and people, family, friends, TV commercials, all this stuff is shouting at you. You got pre-approval for a 30-year mortgage. Now, which house do you want to get? And it's like, whoa, 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 yo, you jumped over the whole decision of, do I want to buy a house I can't afford and then pay for it over the next 30 years? That's only one choice. There are a lot of other things I could do. And it's not just big things, it's little things too, like tiny little decisions all throughout your life. You go to the grocery store and you're in the checkout line. What's there right beside you? 30 different chocolate bars, 20 different kinds of bubble gum, 15 different magazines you could get. Oh, so many choices, so many choices. Which do I get? Which do I get? Or you could take a step back and say, wait. Let's just put all this together into one slot and say, okay, this is buy crap I don't need and waste money slot. Do I want to do that? No, I've got a lot of other choices of things I could do. This is the only choice that's being presented to me and thrust upon me in this giant colorful display. But what are all the choices that I have that no one is throwing in my face? Well, I could sit here and think about what I want to do for the weekend. Maybe I can do something useful while I'm waiting. Or maybe someone in line needs help carrying something. Maybe there's a pretty girl standing right behind me. And if I turn around and say hi to her, we're going to go on a date, then we're going to go get married, then we're going to have beautiful kids and have an amazing life together. But I'm going to miss out on all that if I'm stuffing my face with the chocolate bar. Oh, but I'm saving the wrapper so I can go up to the register and say, oh, look, I ate this already. Aren't I such an honest, good person? Look, I'm such a good person because I saved the wrapper. No, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Don't try to find the silver lining in your own stupidity. If you bought the chocolate bar and you did something stupid, you wasted money doing something that would make you less healthy, acknowledge it. Say, wow, that was an idiotic thing to do. I'm an idiot. Don't sit there and beat yourself up about it, though. Just remember that you're an idiot, and then next time you're in line at the grocery store and you see that chocolate calling to you, all at 30 different kinds, say, no, I was an idiot last time. You duped me. You got me last time. We're not doing that again. And pretty soon, you'll get into this habit of when things try to dupe you, you'll say, no, I'm not buying it. The question is not which one do I want. The question is, do I even want one? And the answer is no, I don't want one. And then 5 years from now, you can be standing in the grocery store and looking at those chocolate bars that you've been totally ignoring for several years and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Could you imagine how much money I would have wasted if every time I went through the grocery store line I bought one of those? And how much crap I would have eaten? And how many garbage wrappers I would have thrown out? Wow, I'm so glad I got past that. What else can I get past in my life? What other cages am I in? Either mental or ones that are thrust upon me. What other cages can I break out of? Now, there is one warning I'd want to issue in this whole thing, which is that when you open your eyes, most of the people who are still blind will resent you because they don't want to acknowledge that they're an idiot. They have this idea that they can't acknowledge that they've made a mistake, ever. And if they see you doing something different and doing better, it will just shine a light on the fact that they're not doing the best thing. And they will hate you for it, and they'll try to force you back into a hole. And you'll look at them and say, wow, you're living your life in this tiny sliver of possibility that's been handed to you. Stop doing that, get out. And they will fight and fight and fight. You don't have to fix them. That's their job. Just don't let them undo everything you're doing. There is one other little point I want to make. When I'm talking about this kind of stuff, about how to improve life and how to live better and all that, I'm not trying to imply that I've somehow got it all figured out, that I've achieved ultimate freedom, because I'm still totally in a cage. I'm in a much bigger cage than I was when I was a kid, or even last year, a few years ago. And I look at the people that were around me when I was growing up, and I have like 1,000 times more freedom than that. But I'm still in a cage, and every time I break out of a cage, I can look back at the cage and say, "Ah, look at those people who are still stuck in that cage. I'm so glad I got out of there." But then if I look around, I realize, oh, I'm just in a bigger cage. And now I need to break out of that one. And there's going to be a bigger cage waiting for me outside there. And every time I break out of a cage, I'm going to get more freedom, but I'm still going to be in a cage. It doesn't matter where you are in that whole spectrum of cages. The important thing is that you keep breaking out of these cages. Because if you stay in the same cage too long, you kind of stagnate and start dying inside. But every time you break out of a cage, it's like this infusion of life. So keep breaking out of those cages. The ones in here and the ones out there.